I was talking to somebody in the crowd, and they said last time I was here, I gave a very high energy talk. I don't know if I have the same amount of energy, but I'm standing, and we'll see what we can do. So again, my name is Yaw Anokwa. I am the creator and CEO of ODK. First, thank you so much for having me here, and congratulations to everybody here on all the incredible impact that you've had working together. I always like to start my talks by just seeing a show of hands. Just raise your hand up high. I'll take a picture here. How many of you have used ODK before? We don't have a marketing team, so that's what I do for marketing. Okay. We don't have a lot of financial resources, so we have to be efficient with what we do. So for those who don't know what ODK is a really powerful and flexible platform for data collection. It's used for service delivery and more. It's used by researchers and field teams and other professionals like yourselves who are working at the last mile. ODK is a free and open source platform, and many of the core technologies that my team produces powers a lot of the tools that you use. So in fact, I'm really just thrilled that every talk in this session uses ODK in some way. Isn't that interesting? So ONA provides ODK hosting. Survey123 uses the Enketo engine and the form spec that we produce. Novelty uses ODK and GTS. Vaccine Buddy sends ODK submissions. Martin at Blue Square, they use ODK as well. And so it's just a privilege that the tools that my team can produce provide so much value. I want to take a little bit of time here to talk about the work that we've been doing since I was here in Brazzaville, and the work that we're doing at ODK to just share how we can help you collect better data and have a bigger impact. So with, let's see, button. Yeah, there we go. With ODK, you can really sort of do three things. You can build smart workflows, and those workflows can include text, photos, location, skip logic, calculations. You probably know all this. But what you might not know is that today in ODK, you can start using longitudinal data sets with entities. You can have offline map layers. You can do geofencing. We have audit logs that behave a lot like the GTS tracker and so on. And I'll try to show you examples of all of these things later. And all of this, as always, works entirely offline. So you can use either the mobile app or the web app, and forms and submissions and all your other data is synchronized automatically in the background whenever a Wi-Fi or a cell connection is found. You can use this data that you collect in ODK to drive decisions, and we'll try to make it really easy. So you can flow data between forms to streamline your work. You can connect tools like Power BI or Excel or Python or R directly to ODK to build your dashboards and reports. And if you're a programmer, you can use pretty much any language that you want to build these really exciting API integrations. ODK is a digital public good with global reach. This is just the core tools, not all the sort of tools that are based on ODK. So the core tools are used by about 1 million people in every country, except for Greenland and North Korea, so 190 countries for obvious reasons. We're working on Greenland, but North Korea is not looking so good. So many of these users collect and use geospatial data. In fact, so like 2024, 120 million, 22 million locations, and then 39 million map tiles downloaded. And you know, I'm Ghanaian. I'm from Ghana, and it's always difficult for me to look at the numbers because Nigeria always beats Ghana when it comes to the number of submissions. So Nigeria won this year. Congratulations to the Nigeria team as far as number of submissions. I'll be working with the Ghana team to see if we can up our numbers. I don't know, it's not looking so good either. So these numbers are really amazing, but they don't tell the whole story of all the things that the impact that the community is having with ODK. So I want to give you 3 examples. The first is actually from last month or 2 months ago. This is in Ethiopia. The Federal Ministry of Health in Ethiopia, in an effort to prevent cervical cancer, has vaccinated 6.8 million girls from HPV. ODK was used for pre-campaign readiness assessment, the supervisory checklist, and to ensure sort of campaign quality throughout the whole project. So this is a very recent project. Another example, this one is in our neighbor here in DRC. This is in June 2023. 17 million kids were vaccinated from polio in a 3-day campaign. ODK was used in this project as well. And then the last one, also here in DRC, The Against Malaria Foundation has been using ODK since 2019. They've delivered something like 128 million bed nets, and all the stuff is data that's collected with ODK. So ODK is really used at scale for a lot of impactful projects, not just in polio, but across the health spectrum. So I want to take a small step back and talk a little bit about, folks have been using ODK is 16 years old now. It feels like a teenager. And there are a lot of features that have been added over the years. So I want to just take a little bit to talk about 5 features that are available in ODK that you may know, but you might not know. So a little bit of instant training. So with ODK, you can collect points, you can collect lines, you can collect shapes. You can actually collect that data on your device, but ODK can also connect to an external GPS via Bluetooth. And these external GPSs, they can get centimeter accuracy. So that's possible with ODK. You can always collect points by tapping on the screen, but ODK also has features where you can just, if you're walking around a plot, you can put the phone in your pocket and ODK will collect points for you at a particular frequency and particular accuracy. So ODK can do that today. You might not know this, but ODK has a form audit log feature where you can log the time and place of every action that's taken during the form filling process. So every swipe, every answer change can be logged in ODK. This is a little different than GTS. GTS tracks the phone no matter what you're doing with it. ODK only does the tracking whilst you're filling out the form. But it's great. We don't think that our data collectors are cheating. We say their data collectors may not have been well trained, but ODK has features there to sort of help guarantee that your data collectors are at the right place at the right time and doing the right things. Another feature that you might not know is that we have added a lot of powerful new geospatial functions to ODK. You can calculate area, you can do reverse geocoding, where if you put in a latitude and longitude, ODK can return a place name for you. And now you can also do geofencing. So you can make sure that a data collector is at the right settlement and it won't let them proceed on the form unless they're the right place. So that's available in ODK today as well. For those of you who work offline, and most of you work offline, we also have support for offline map layers. So you can export a layer from OSM or from Mapbox, you can load it onto the device and it becomes a layer that data collectors can toggle. You can use this to add high resolution satellite imagery, annotated maps, boundaries, and whatever in the form. So every time you see a map in ODK, know that the base map is there, but you can also layer on whatever offline layers that you want. And then the last is that every geospatial feature that you see in ODK, like a point or boundary, you can style that. You can load those in by GeoJSON or CSV, and then you can style those things. So in this example here, I think you can make like this, like restaurants and hotels. So you can have restaurants that are in teal and hotels that are in red. And you can use the metadata about each of these geospatial features in your form filling. So if you select a hotel, you can ask questions about how many rooms are in this hotel. If you select a restaurant, you can say, what kind of food does this restaurant serve? So the geospatial features on the map can be used as part of your form filling process. It's super powerful. Now, there's a ton of features here and still complaints. People want more, people want more. So one of the things that we've heard from folks like yourself is that you want ODK to do more for you. And we've heard you. And so we've been building some things. The common theme here is that you've wanted to be able to link submissions about, for example, the same sampling sites. You want to go to a sampling site, click on that sampling site, see all the data that's been collected about that sample site. When was the last time something was sampled? That way you're not collecting GPS coordinates. So we've heard you, you want to do that. Excuse me. You also want to hear, you want to see a summary of the work progress, right? If you're doing a campaign, how many households have I done? How many households has my team done? Globally, how many households have been vaccinated? You want to see that? We've heard you about that. And then people also want to share lists across forms. Now, these lists can be things like a cascading select of all the countries and then districts, sub-districts, or so on. But they can also be lists of households or sites. All these requests have a common theme. They need some way to share data, geospatial or otherwise. And so we heard the feedback. And last time I was here, we didn't really have it, but now we have it. It's called entities. And you've heard a little bit about that. So I want to talk just briefly about like what is an entity, what is it designed for, what can it be used for, so you can learn a little bit about what we're doing. So what is an entity? An entity is a thing that can be shared between forms and can change over time. So You can use entities to represent real things like households or trees or cities, but you can use them to also represent more abstract things like malaria cases or election results. You can think of an entity, entities are sort of organized into these entity lists that group entities of the same type together. You can think of an entity list as a spreadsheet or a database that's shared across forms. So the forms that you have now can now read, write, and update entity lists, okay? What can you do with this? ODK now allows you to do things like longitudinal data collection, case management, service delivery, and other complex workflows with these entities. You might have, I think there was mention about dynamic file attachments. Entities is different in the way that it works because entities gives you a lot more flexibility. First of all, entities work entirely offline. So you can register a household and deliver a service to that household offline. You don't just flow data from one form to the other. All forms can update all entities. And so it's just a much more powerful way of data collection. Rather than just keep talking about it, I'm going to just try to show you a quick demo of what entities enables. And this one will do a vaccination campaign, which I think most people are familiar with. Let's see if this works. It's going to be an animation here. All right, you can sort of see it happening here. So here I'm registering a household. It's just like a normal ODK form, and it looks like a normal ODK form. I will pick a GPS coordinate from a household. And I just fill in some notes about a household. The same old ODK experience, but what you don't see is that this form is entity enabled. So the moment I hit send or I hit save, it actually creates a household entity that you can share between all the forms in your project or in any sort of related project. And when it gets registered, essentially creates a household that you can reuse at a later point. Okay, so let's see that later point. You can also view these households on a map, right? So after I register a household, offline, I can see all the households I've registered. I can click on them and see all the data that I've persisted in the entities about it. Now, here's the thing to note. The household entity doesn't just hold all the data that you've collected in the form. As a form designer, you choose which data elements need to be saved as an entity. So it's not a one-to-one mapping of the submission to the entity. The entity only contains things that you need to drive a particular workflow. So in this case, like the number of children under 5, probably an important thing to add to the entity. As always, you can add offline layers since this is the GIS Summit. So here I'm going to download an OSM layer that I've stored on Google Drive. It gets imported to the project. You can share that layer between one project or multiple projects. It's OSM, so it's got that yellow thing. You can see the boundary around it. And so you can toggle that layer. You can put whatever you want in this layer. You can put boundaries, you can put annotations, you can put satellite imagery, and you can share these base maps across your team. And so it's just a very nice way to get the data that you need visualized. And then you can do things like view the missed households. Again, this works offline as well. So if you deliver some number of vaccines and you miss some households, as the households are missed or you mark them as missed, it will dynamically update on the device, right? So the households will go from being blue, I think when it comes up, yeah, so that missed household. So you can change the status color or the icon of any mapping object as the entity data gets updated. And this means that you can do things like also update campaign coverage. So the red is a household that's been missed, green is the one that has been vaccinated. And the cool thing is that if you're offline, it'll just show you your map. But the moment you synchronize, you see all the households of your team if you want to, or your entire campaign. So you can get both local context about how you are progressing, how your team is progressing, and the whole campaign is progressing. Again, this stuff is available in ODK today. Oh, wait. I'm not done. There's more. Okay, so this is just like the tip of the iceberg as far as what ODK can do today. What I haven't shown you in the demos, yeah, you can filter the map offline. If you have a list of known entities or households that you want to visit, you don't have to create those forms. You can just upload them via CSV or via API. You can prevent duplicates on registration. All the stuff is available today. Okay, and we have more coming. And so as I've been talking to people and showing folks the features that we have, The question I always get asked is like, well, what's coming next? So I want to show, can everybody keep a secret here? No? Okay, again, we do not have a marketing team, so feel free to tweet these images. Tell your friends, your family. Just kidding. Here are 3 new things that are coming in ODK, and I would say it's coming in the next month or so. Ali's our product designer back there. Ali, can you raise your hand? Ali's here to sort of listen to your feedback and help support you all in the needs. And so she's going to be, she controls the roadmap. And so when I say a month, she's shaking her head. Okay, it might take longer than a month, but soon. Can we say soon? These features are coming soon. So the first is selects. Now you're thinking like, okay, who cares about selects? We spend a lot of time making the selecting things from a drop-down list easier because they're one of the most popular data types. And so making sure that no matter the quality of your device, how, if you work in the farm or something like that, your fingers get very calloused. On a low quality device, it makes it really hard to tap the screen. A lot of data collectors are subsistence farmers, and so they actually waste a lot of time clicking things. And so at ODK scale, just with ODK Collect alone, we have 1 million users. So if we can save 1 million users 1 second, that is like 12 days of total time. If you can save a data collector 5 seconds, that's like 2 months of time across our user base. So we spent a ton of time optimizing these things. So we spent a lot of time making selects easier. Not that it looks better, but it also means that there's fewer mistakes in the field and we're saving time. So these are the kind of optimizations that we're making that are coming soon. The next one is a little bigger. People have been asking for the ability to edit forms after they've been sent. So coming soon, data collectors can edit or fix mistakes in their forms after they've sent them. You can talk as a project owner, you can toggle this on and off if you want. Some people want edits, some people don't. So you'll be able to edit this, you'll be able to toggle this. But what's really important is that every edit would then be stored on the server. And so as a data manager, you'll see every change that has been made. But data collectors can now or will soon be able to edit their data, which is awesome. And there's another button down there you can't see, it says make a copy and edit as new. So if you're visiting the same kinds of households, you can actually now make a template of your form. That's going to also save you a bunch of time. So that's coming as well. And then the last one is a really big change. You probably know Enketo, which we maintain. It's a lot of the web forms library. Enketo is very difficult to maintain. So we've actually launched a new project called ODK Web Forms, and we're replacing Enketo with this really fast and reliable new web forms. It's dynamic. It works on a bunch of different devices. It's super fast and reliable, and it's going to unlock a new use case, which is projects that governments want to deploy with bring your own devices, nationwide self-reporting, citizen science, all the power of ODK forms. The experience that you get in ODK Collect will now be available in a web browser. It'll work on iOS, it'll work on your tablet, and it'll have offline support. So that's what we're working on. That's not coming in a few weeks or months. It's coming soon, but it's in beta right now, and we're really excited about what it could enable. So we're almost out of time, so I'm going to end with this. We are hosting a 60-minute workshop, I think at 3:30. It's going to be Ali and I. It's going to be super interactive where you can actually try out all the features that I've talked about. If you have ODK installed on your phone, you can come. We built some forms. You can try it out. And we hope that you can use these features to improve your surveillance and response. And a lot of these features are available on ONA. So if you're using the ONA server, no worries, it'll work. The session will unfortunately be only in English. It's going to be a ton of fun. So you should come. And we've got these, we've been handing these out. We've got stickers that you can put on your laptops. Marketing budget is very low. And we also have these cards. You can see the cards there that have a list of all the features of things that you might not know ODK can do. And on the front of the card is a little feedback button. We really do value your feedback. So if you get a card and there's something that ODK can do for you, write it out, take a picture, send it to us, and we'll make sure it gets added to our roadmap. So with that, thank you so much for your time and your attention. Merci pour votre temps et votre attention. My French is not so bueno. If you have any questions about anything that I've talked about today, that's my email address. I'm extremely easy to find online. That's my LinkedIn. Any feedback that you have about how we can enable you, just don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, so thank you very much. And I think I'm a little over time. So thanks so much.